Hey guys, it's Studios here with an awesome update regarding Flash vertical velocity. I know it's been a while since we've really seen anything new with Flash. It's been a while since I've really posted anything about Great Adventure. Of course, we're in that kind of off-season slump where there's not really too much going on, which is to be expected, as is the case every year. But this year, we have a brand new roller coaster coming in, so of course everyone wants to know what the construction timeline is looking like for the project, and we haven't really seen much of an update. We saw some land clearing the last time the park posted, but today we have new pictures coming from @ForceConcrete on Instagram. They're the group that is working on the concrete for both this project, and they worked on the new water park edition over at Hurricane Harbor, and they've shared some of the progress for both of those projects on their Instagram page. And today they have posted a brand new update regarding Flash, and it is super exciting. As we can see here from these photos, I'm going to cycle through them, but we can see that footer work has begun, and this whole area looks completely different now. You really have a hard time telling that there used to be an arboretum here, that there used to be trees here. Everything looks super different. So this is the first picture we have here. Just for some perspective, this is going to be where the roll is. So you see on the left side of that image, there's the path, or at least what used to be the path. So these footers right here are for that element in the back. You're going to have the dive loop thing that doesn't really go upside down, the booster launch into the zero-G roll and the spike. This is going to be pretty much where the booster launch is. It might be a little further back, but around this area is where we can expect to see the booster launch. Cycling over to the next image here, we can see just how far out this project goes. This is the furthest footer into the park, and you can see where it is in proximity to everything else. There's the giant wheel, which is missing all of its cars. As we know, they are currently working on redoing a lot of the cars for the giant wheels restoration in 2024. And you can see on the right there, that is the patio from Mama Flora's Grill sticking out all the way there, and the restrooms are right next to this as well. So this is right by where that basketball game is, and they have taken down all of the fencing over here, so it really makes that whole section of the park look totally different now that they have all the fencing down and the trees gone. You can really see how Flash is going to stick out in Great Adventure's skyline. It's going to really pop as you're walking down towards the giant wheel. You're going to see on your right this giant roller coaster's element right there. It really sticks far in, much further than I was expecting to see it go into the park. So this is a really, really exciting image right here. Next up, we have another look from a bit further back, so you can kind of see Skyscreamer's entrance, and that really does put into perspective how much fencing has been taken down for the construction of this project. You can see the Old Country restrooms right there. That's where they are in relation to this project. This is that first footer we saw from the first image where the roll kind of starts, and back there is where that big footer is for the non-inverting dive loop element all the way back there. So really great stuff here. You can see trees have been cut down all the way over here as well, so I'm curious how far out we can expect to see the footprint of the fencing and whatnot for this attraction. I imagine they're probably going to have quite a bit of leeway next to the track, that way they can get in and work on the LSMs if need be. We're going to move on to the next image here, which again showcases just how far into the park it goes. You can see a better look at where this is in relation to the restrooms. So when you're going to those Old Country restrooms now, you'll look to your right, and right above you is Flash towering over you. It's going to be a really cool visual, and this ride is going to be one of the most photogenic coasters in the park. There are pretty much no coasters other than El Toro that are built moving inside the park. They're all kind of pushing themselves away from the park, so you can't really get that great of photo opportunities unless you're on a backstage tour. But this ride, that will not be the case at all. There's going to be incredible photo opportunities for this attraction, and I really can't wait to see just how everything looks, seeing that track and supports finally popping up, standing out. Next image here, we have another closer look at the way they are constructing this footer. This is that giant footer that goes right up against the path. And when I say it goes right up against the path, it really goes right up against the path. This sticks out further than the restrooms, even further than Mama Flora's patio, depending on your perspective. So when you're turning right to go towards Metropolis and Flash's Plaza, this is going to be right there. It's going to be a great entryway to the DC area, whatever they wind up calling it, if they keep it Metropolis and Movie Town, or if they just rename the whole thing to DC Universe. We're not too sure what their plan is for that quite yet, but you could see concrete being poured in. They already have everything ready to go, laid out, so they have the shape there. I imagine that probably by the end of today or tomorrow, these ones will be done. They have the cure, of course, and then they're going to make their way down the footprint, but they are starting with the footers that are most close to the park, which is a really smart move, because this way they'll be able to patch up some of this area by the time opening day comes. You might not realize it, but opening day is only a month and a week away. It is super close. It's currently February 9th. March 16th is confirmed to be opening day, so they definitely don't have too much time to get everything ready for opening day. Of course, we don't expect Flash to be ready for March or even April. I think it's definitely going to be much longer than that. But they do want to have this area opened as far as we know. They haven't said that they're going to close this area in particular. They haven't announced any closures for the beginning of the season, but I would definitely expect Metropolis to not be open due to Flash's construction. So they're probably going to block it off right by where we used to go for the Cyborg path. That's probably going to be the boundary there. So definitely expect to see that area closed, of course, because of the construction here. I am curious how much of a construction wall they're going to have out into the plaza here by the Old Country restrooms and up by Giant Wheel. I'm really curious to see just how far out that extends, because they do need a lot of equipment around, and of course after they pour the concrete they still need to put all the supports in and the tracks, so they're definitely going to need to use some of this path space in order to do that. We don't know the construction timeline right now, but if I had to guess, judging off the fact that footers are being poured now, we can probably expect to see track and supports start making their way over by around the time the park opens, maybe a little before, maybe a little after. All depends on shipments and whatnot. We're not sure what they have. And now these last couple of pictures show us an aerial view of the entire site, and this is a really cool perspective. They did this also for their Hurricane Harbor pictures and really gave you a good look at what that new area looks like. I highly recommend checking out their account to see what I'm talking about with regards to the Hurricane Harbor edition. But like I said, you can see over here on this side of Flash where the station and Immelman and all that is going to be. They haven't done too much. It's mostly just land clearing on this side. You can see trees are chopped down all the way up against that building right there, which is currently lost and found / member services. It's a whole bunch of things. This big building right here is the giant lockers, so the ride is going to run right up against those. So they're going to keep these trees right here, so there will be a little bit of a gap between the outside of the park, the park entrance, and inside Flash's footprint here. Moving on to the next image. This is a little closer to the pathway, so we can see a lot of the backstage area here. This right here is Mama Flora's, just for some perspective. That's the patio, and these are the restrooms, so that's that giant footer right there. Well, at least an area of that giant footer that goes all the way out there. And right here we have those two smaller footers that are closer to the path. So like I said, this is going to be where that 0G roll takes place, right over the pathway. This is probably going to be where that booster launch is, and the non-inverting dive loop is going to be right here, that giant high turn. So like I said, it's really going to extend super far into the park, and we can see there's been a lot of work done. Looks like they have some pieces over here. I can't really tell what that is, but I'm not really seeing any track or supports from the looks of it. If you see bright red or bright yellow, that's probably a good indicator that it's for Flash. You can also see some boxes over here. A lot of those we did see at the end of the 2023 season. They could be for Flash, they could be for Justice League, they could really be for anything. That's more of a storage area right there. And then the final picture that Force Concrete has provided here, we have another look at these footers, and this really shows you the entrance into Flash's whole main area. So previously this was all dominated by trees and a giant fence. This is where the Aftermath maze was. Aftermath has been completely ripped out of this area, and you can see the straight length here of where Flash's track is going to run. So I'm not sure what the fencing situation is going to be, or even what the path situation is going to be up here. You can see all that fencing has been moved, and they do have some barriers here as well. And I'm really just curious to see how this all winds up panning out, how far out the path is going to go, where the fencing is going to be, how good the sight lines are going to be, if they're going to plant trees over here. There's so many questions, and I can't wait to see them all answered as we come closer to Flash having more construction done on it. I am very excited to see how this project progresses. And again, a huge shout out to Force Concrete for sharing these images to their Instagram. This is really helpful for us to see what exactly is going on with Flash, and this definitely has me really excited for the construction timeline of this coaster and overall the project, and seeing what the park looks like now that we're in February. So if you guys enjoyed this Flash update video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Flash and Great Adventure updates coming soon to Hollywood Studios. Goodbye, guys.